Hey,
Hey y'all.
Slim with that Danae, and
Hey,
welcome to
welcome
Saturday.
to Saturday.
Yes.
We want to ask y'all a question right quick. Have you ever felt torn between your family and your marriage? You know what I mean by that? Like
Mhm.
you want to support and be there for your family, but you're also trying to like cultivate, build up, do the things, prioritize all the things you need to do for your own marriage. And sometimes you could just you just feel that feel a little torn on that.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Now, are you talking just family as in kids or family as a
no, it
whole?
could be extended
Yeah,
family. It could
outside
be
of you and me. Okay.
outside of us. Have
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
ever felt that
yeah,
way
yeah.
before? How y'all doing today?
Hey.
I know we've been there.
Yeah.
I know we've been there. Like you don't want the pull of your family as much as you love your family and everything. But sometimes you just don't want the pull of the family and some of the things that they need from you and want from you to start pulling y'all apart.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
we've
it.
been there, and
Been
and
there.
and it can be a little challenging. It can be a struggle, but we've learned some things through that, and we want to share that with y'all
Yeah.
today. Again,
Hey,
welcome to
to Saturday.
Saturday.
Hey, we're Linwood and Danae.
Yep.
All right.
And we're here. We just want to help Christian couples who, feel a little off in their marriage, just align their marriage. You make God the biggest part of your life together.
Mhm.
You will not do life apart from each other. And
Absolutely.
that's what we are here for today. So we created this space to just talk through some of the issues that couples go through that make them feel a little disconnected, a little drawn apart.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about family.
That's it.
This
Hey,
could be a sensitive topic for
yeah.
some.
Well, it's not sensitive. It's realistic.
Yes,
It's
it
realistic.
is.
And so on our dates, right, we talk about several good things and some challenging things. So you ever been on a date that is kind of like, oh, this is a serious conversation, and then all about the dessert. It's like, hey, oh, we actually having a conversation, and so we have these conversations in during our dates,
Mm-hmm.
and some most of them end up in laughter because family
Is
is
funny.
hilarious. So one of the things, again, we travel, right? And we have an RV. And I remember for 2 years, we
Mm.
did research and of getting the right RV. And at that time, all four of us were staying in the same house. I
Yeah.
had, our son was
Over
taller than
six,
me.
almost 6 feet. Yeah.
Yep. We were homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was doing most of homeschooling. So we had a daughter that was in school. Both of them was homeschooling for a while. So we was researching. We started looking at, oh, it had to be a certain height
Height.
because
Yep.
of him. We had to get the beds right, and each one of them having their own space. And you know what? All that planning, all that planning, it was considering them,
Yep.
right? And again, teenagers.
And the grandbabies and stuff too.
Yeah, we were thinking about that, and grandbabies being able to go with us, and and their parents and everybody. We were just doing all these trips with moms and dads and cousins and sisters and
Mm-hmm.
brothers in our planning. And it was like, wait a minute, we considered everything else outside except for
Except us. What we really needed.
what we needed,
Yeah.
right, to get in it. And so that shifted the whole thing. Next thing we know, we have a smaller rig, and it works perfect.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, all the people we thought was coming had different lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like we spent 2 years
Mm-hmm. Prioritizing
prioritizing
everybody else
everybody
that we
coming with
love,
us.
that we care
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
But yeah, we prioritize all of their stuff before what we
yeah.
were trying to do for us.
But what really came out of it, because we did consider them, we were able to, like, okay, now we go to them, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't mess up any of their rhythms. We're there when the time allows, when the space allows, when what we really desire is to be with our family
Yeah.
comes alive.
Yeah.
So what you got going on?
So, I mean, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Just the one belief that we had to learn to embrace so we didn't feel that being torn between our marriage and our family anymore. And it just helped us so much, because some of you really do truly believe that you have to choose. I have to choose between my marriage and my family. I got to choose between what we're building and what we want to do. But then I got like these expectations from my family. And it could be your family of origin. It could be, things that your parents are still expecting from you, even like your siblings. Maybe you have some family traditions that they're still expecting you to do, but you're trying to build your own traditions now, your new traditions with your new family. And so just navigating all of that. What you smiling at?
What was one of the first traditions you?
Oh, so I come from a tight knit family. We are very tight knit. 6 of us all together, and we're really close. And so our 2 biggest traditions are Christmas and Thanksgiving, but more so Thanksgiving. That was our jam. That was our thing. And I remember when we was about maybe into the 2nd or 3rd year of our marriage, and I was like, okay, I want to start building some new traditions for us. And it was Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm going to cook Thanksgiving dinner this time. Not the turkey though, because I ain't never
We just
cooked
got a
a
little
turkey.
small, little sliced turkey.
Yeah,
like the little hams you get.
Yeah. But I was concerned. I was like, well, what if my family still wants me, to come, over my mom's house, over my brother's house? It was, I had that pulling again of like, but they're still probably expecting me to show up, and all of that. So it was tough. It was I had that little thing going on in my heart and my inside parts, but I had to start doing something different so that we could start building the traditions that we wanted and the things that we needed to do for our family, because our family, I was 37 years single, but now I'm married. So I'm learning to be married, and I had to learn how to collaborate with him and work with him to prioritize us.
And it became kind of overwhelming too, trying to visit everybody's house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Y'all y'all ever do that? Y'all
Man.
gotta go and all these 50 million places at some of y'all, that might be a jam. Y'all like, I don't gotta cook. We just gonna take our to-go places.
It used to be fun though. But the more condensed in Georgia, we were in Metro Atlanta, the more condensed, something that took 15 minutes to get to somebody's house is now
it's an hour.
An hour. And so you're over there, and now you're trying to get this. And so
it becomes more stressful.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And it was like, oh man.
So then you want to do something different.
Yeah,
but then you got like the expectations. Yeah. But you always did this. Yeah. Oh, now why you changing now? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, it ain't quite that. We just gotta make some adjustments.
Just make some adjustments. We make some adjustments.
Yeah.
No love lost at all.
Yep. But you don't have to choose, y'all. When you really understand like what God's design for marriage is, and when you learn how you can incorporate those healthy boundaries with your family, you really can honor both of them. You can honor your marriage, you can honor your spouse, and you can still honor your family. It's just some boundaries and things that you have to put in place, which will be very, very beneficial.
But it felt like you abandoned people, when you start doing new things.
Yeah.
And some of that guilt, whether it's spoken or felt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this because it's different. Change is different.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just
like what our friend Danae says. Elevation requires change.
Elevation requires change.
And when you're trying to elevate in your marriage and build and all of those, it does require change.
Okay.
And sometimes family don't always understand the change. Mm-hmm. And it can cause some misunderstanding. So you got to talk it out. That you got to choose. You feel like you have to choose between your marriage and your family.
So anybody feel like they have to choose?
Have you ever felt that way?
Have you ever felt that way?
Yes.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Uh-huh.
And what are some of those things? Yep. Because we all have common things, whether it's the children, a daughter, a son, or both. Sometimes the kids team up on you.
Oh, yeah.
And they be like, well, y'all should this and whatever, and I think you should do this. And so then they tug at your heartstrings.
Yep.
That's hard. But go ahead.
Tug at your kids too. But the one belief that we had to learn and embrace is implementing boundaries without abandonment.
Absolutely.
That's it right there. Learn how to have boundaries without abandonment, because boundaries don't mean like you're rejecting or you're cutting off or you're like putting a fence there without a door. It's actually more for protection than rejection, because you're protecting the integrity of your marriage. Absolutely. And you're protecting the things that y'all are trying to do and build together, and you're protecting the respecting of one another. And you're not rejecting your family. You're not doing that. You're just like, hey, this is kind of what we need to in order to do something different. And so, that was the biggest thing.
One of them is like our Mondays too.
Yeah.
Danae Day.
Yep.
It was like one day we took that. It took a time to, like, people would call us on Mondays and, all this stuff. And then it was like, hey, this is our day.
Yeah.
Just like Saturday is our Lene Day.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun time and a conversational time.
Yeah.
But our Lene days, we are talking through the issues.
Yes, through our stuff.
That's it.
With our marriage.
All the things that we help. And some of this will be covered in
our masterclass on next Saturday. Yep. So y'all be sure to register. Links in the chat.
A few more slots.
Yep. But that was interesting too, because even with the kids, they were like, because most of our kids are adults now, but they were like, wait, I can't call you. You can call, but we can't really talk right now. This is our day. This is what we've implemented this day for us to work through our things that we need. Just setting aside this day for us, and it became our day. But they were like, this is different. This is new. But it took some time. But it was a boundary, a healthy boundary that we established to protect our time and our date day together.
It did. And with the two that were staying with us, they saw us doing that, so they didn't have to call. They said, hold on, we'll get with y'all. Whatever you need is in the kitchen or whatever, because most of the time they want something to eat or go somewhere or something like that. And so it was establishing that from, if we had the circle in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and then to the rest of the world. That's it.
Yes, that's what that healthy boundary looks like. Right. But that was cool too, because even with our daughter Courtney, the youngest one, she was like, I want to start doing that when I get married. So you can model it. So it can turn out to be very, very healthy when you start modeling those healthy boundaries at your family. And another thing that I had to learn, and what it looks like to establish boundaries without abandonment. This is a big one, is when sometimes like crisis comes in with your family. And I don't mean like life or death crisis, but I mean, it may seem a crisis or an emergency to them. It's urgent, and for me, that was a big thing, because, I was kind of like the connector in my family. I'm the one who kind of always kept everybody together. I'm the one who like kind of keep the peace between everybody and all of that. So it was always like, Danae. And, once I got married, because again, I was single then, but now I'm married, I got other responsibilities, I got other things we're trying to do, just all of that. And it was just like, man, I can't just keep jumping and responding, or reacting rather, every time there's a family emergency or a family crisis, or, whatever it is. Like, I know I've played that role in the past, but a shift and adjustment has to be made now. And now I have to put a boundary in place. And so even with that being said, one of the things that we had to do is I had to communicate.
Yes.
And I had to have we had to have that honest communication with each other, and just having that conversation of, okay, well, he had to help me understand, okay, what is it going to look like if you're getting a phone call all the time? What is it going to look like now to protect your mental space, your just the things that you need to do. So I really prayed about it. And one of the things, go ahead, that God helped me to understand is how to intercede without interfering.
Absolutely.
Because I was always like the referee, always wanting to interfere. And God was like, no, you don't always have to interfere, because even in that, sometimes I was interrupting a growth process that God was doing in some of the people in my family. But if I'm always jumping in, if I'm always going in, he was like, you don't have to do that all the time. So pray with God how to establish those healthy boundaries in a unique way for you and for y'all. And so that was helpful.
I would say the only way I could even model that or say that is because I remember I was like the fireman. I was rushing into buildings and doing all that stuff. But one thing a fireman does, he waits for the call,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't doing that.
Yep.
I would go over and I would see something. Next thing I know, I'm fixing it. Or somebody would tell me something and they didn't say anything. Hey, I need you. They just told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it as like, okay, that's an opportunity to help. And I'm just, you know, protecting and serving, but nobody called me to do it.
Just
But
jumping in.
yeah, but guess what? An opportunity sometimes turn into obligation,
Mm,
right?
that's good.
Yeah. I took the opportunity to do it, but then next time they just make me feel like I have to do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh man, but I need to be at home. And one time somebody told me, it was a good friend too, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? Well, you just ain't never told me no. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like, aha,
Mm.
aha. I became like Jim Carrey on that yes man. And I was just doing things.
Yeah.
And everything I thought I was doing was for, the betterment,
Yeah. Because
right?
these are people we
Mhm.
care about.
Yes.
We love. Like, yeah, but go ahead.
But they never called me.
Mm.
I just heard, or I went by and saw something and I
Mm-hmm.
was just on my way home or in my do. And next thing I know, I'm over there for 3 hours doing something,
Mm.
either
Mm-hmm.
hearing a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right, and taking on that burden, or I'm fixing something that requires me to go to Home Depot or Lowe's about 15,
Mm-hmm.
20 times, because it's an older house or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. And I got to get the right part. And then it's taken away from home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you come home, food is cold, or,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, and everybody sleep. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, I missed the opportunity to be at home because something I made an obligation,
Yeah.
that really wasn't an obligation
Yeah.
because they didn't call. I
Right.
just jumped
Right.
in when I didn't have to.
And that
So
actually kind of brings us into our scripture for the day.
absolutely.
So
Go ahead.
it's alignment time, y'all.
It's alignment time. Yeah.
And this is the word that we rest on and that we rely on when it comes to it. And y'all know this one. I know y'all know this one in Genesis 2:24. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united with his wife and they become one flesh. It's the leave and cleave principle, y'all.
Absolutely.
It's the leave and cleave. It's like when you and leaving, it doesn't necessarily mean forsake.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that at all.
But forsake is in you don't forget, you don't abandon. But your priorities adjust. It's like when we got married, again, I was a single mom. So my kids came first. They were first place in my life. And when we got married, I had to learn how to, navigate, our marriage and my spouse and my children. And it's just like, wait, which one comes first now? Which one comes first now? It's the same thing with when you leave your family of origin, your siblings, all that. They were always your nucleus. They were always like first place in your life. And then when you get married, you have to leave that, like you were cleaved to that, but now you have to cleave to your spouse and build a new family unit with your spouse. Because plus, when them kids is gone, praise be to God, all things are going to go well. And it's just going to be y'all two. Yes. And you don't want to look over there one day and be like,
who is that guy?
Who is this stranger?
Last time I looked over at her, she had black hair. And, over here, I used to have hair. What is all this stuff?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you have to build for the long term by cleaving to your spouse. But it doesn't mean that you have to abandon, and it doesn't mean that you have to have guilt. You just have to define what those boundaries are and even communicate that with your family and help them to begin to understand your new role.
And what I liked about the opportunity to be on both sides of it, right? When I was the one that was doing all the obligated things I thought I was obligated to, like everything I thought I was doing was for the house. I was working, I had little side jobs and stuff like that, bringing in extra money and bringing everything into the house.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I wasn't leaving all of that to cleave to the person.
That's good.
at that time. I thought I was doing that, but I wasn't leaving all of that stuff to cleave. And what
Yeah.
happened? I lost all
Mm-hmm.
of that. I
Mm-hmm.
lost the job. I lost the first marriage. I lost myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had to regain all that,
Mm-hmm.
through Christ. And
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, how does this work? And he gave me another opportunity. And so now I'm on this side, and I'm cleaving, but she has a lot of obligations now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was like, okay, it says I'm supposed to leave and cleave. I'm doing that, but I ain't got nothing to cleave to. I ain't got it, And so it became, sometimes we play with that scripture, and I say, man, they need to make that, both need to do it,
Yeah.
right? But I had to be the example. I had to be the model of that.
Yeah.
And we started to establish that. And I
Yeah.
really, truly appreciate you um, reorientating the priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Even when it comes in the decision makings of things that y'all are going to do in regard to connecting with your family, doing all these different things, you have to have that conversation with your spouse, and that honest, open conversation, and saying, prioritize what your spouse needs too.
Yes.
When it comes to the decision making, it doesn't have to just be, well, this is my family, this is what we always did, because then it makes your spouse not feel important either. They feel neglected as well. It's like, well, dang, well, what am I? Chopped liver?
We're not looking for neglection,
but no,
or rejection.
right? It's just having that honest conversation, and that looks like for y'all.
Yeah.
So,
and let me tell you, I know several guys right now and several families through in transition. Right? It used to be one way, and now they're empty nesters. Or they used to be in corporate America, and now they're entrepreneur. They used to have children in the house. Oh, I said that already. But whatever the transition is, I'm retired, and now I'm in the house. Right? And so now all of those things that we did once before, now we have to reorientate and reprioritize the way we relate to all of this and to each other.
Yes.
This relating here and relating here.
Yes.
Loving God with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and loving myself and my first neighbor.
That's right.
So it's like, okay, getting all that, now I'm leaving and cleaving, and we are aligning correctly. So that is I would want to caveat, when you're in transition, be aware of the adjustments that's happening. And sometimes something gets out of kilter.
Yep.
Something that was in Jerusalem and between y'all is now way out here.
Samaria.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I don't have to take the kids to this. So what do I do now? Here.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Transition is
good.
The
transition. Transition is possible. Great transition is possible.
Yes. So again, you don't have to choose between you don't have to feel torn. You don't have to feel like, the pull of your family, your external family, your extended family, all of that is pulling y'all apart. You can bring it all together by establishing that boundary of we can have boundaries without abandonment. We just got to have the conversation with each other and have the conversation with our families as well. So that was the gist.
That was the gist of it.
Our talk today.
That's it.
So y'all give us your takeaways in the chat. Tell us what are the biggest things. And while y'all are doing that, we wanted to remind y'all again that we have our complimentary marriage masterclass coming up on April 12th.
Next Saturday.
That is next Saturday. And we are super excited about that. And this is for, I'm sorry.
The times again?
8 a.m.
Central Time,
which is 9 a.m.
Eastern time.
And so this is really just a teaching, a class that we're having. If you've been feeling like more of a drift in your marriage as opposed to the draw of y'all coming together, if you're feeling like there's been some gaps in your communication and you can't figure out what the problem is, this is the masterclass for you. So we have the free registration. It's linked right there in the top of the comments. So go ahead in there and register. And you got anything else with that?
That's it. Well, one caveat on
Okay.
this is that sometimes we aren't waiting for the ask, right? I want to,
Mm-hmm.
when you are reprioritizing, either you ask or you wait for the ask, right? Instead of jumping out there and reacting. So you really don't assume that they need help. You
Mm.
really don't assume that you need to be there, right? Let them ask,
Yes.
right? And also, I want to ask you, have you enjoyed doing these Saturdays?
Yeah, I have.
All right.
Yes. It's been different. It's been
Been different.
good. It's been fun. It's definitely opened up a lot of good conversation
Yes.
for us, and even talking to other couples and spouses when we're just out and about. And some of the couples we're coaching right now,
Yes.
just really getting some really good insight. So
Thank you,
yeah, it's been
Shari.
that.
Say this was great and so true. Love the insight. Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Shari.
gonna continue to pour and continue to share our Saturdays. And
Saturday,
after
Saturday.
the workshop next week, it opens up to a wait list. But our Saturdays we're going to be a little bit more fun.
They're
Right?
not fun
Yeah,
now.
they are fun. They are fun. But sometimes they can get a little serious.
A little deep.
And it's like this is Saturday. And we always say make every day a date day.
That's right.
Right? And this is not an obligation. This is an opportunity to share. And every now and then it feels like an obligation, and I have to check in and say, "Hey, babe, that's why I asked you."
Yeah.
If we're really enjoying this,
Yep.
and we are enjoying this,
I'm definitely enjoying connecting with you all when y'all pop in here in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Van Miles with the Cooks. I will watch the replay. I missed
We
it.
appreciate that. We appreciate
and put
that.
your comments in. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts. So
That's it.
thank y'all.
Thank
y'all
y'all
for jumping on here. Thank you for investing your time with us here every Saturday. Thank you for watching the replays. Thank you for listening to us. So we be like, I don't know what, but hey, we appreciate it. We are doing some of this messy, but we love to share and we love to see other couples thrive.
Yes.
Because marriage is worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Marriage can be so much fun.
Yes.
Marriage does not have to be miserable.
It will not be miserable.
Yes, it will not. You just got to have some skills and some principles to align to when you are going through the challenging times and just trying to figure that thing out. Mm-hmm. We've all been there. We have all been there.
Let's continue to share. And we look forward to sharing Saturday live again next week.
Yep.
Love y'all.
I see the growth. Thank you. Thank you, Shari.
I see all the growth. Yep.
We love you. We love you. We appreciate
Thank
you so much.
So continue to share, like, comment, and
hit the notifications.
Hit the notifications for the next one.
Because we're going to keep in here.
We're going to keep on
next Saturday. But next Saturday is the masterclass.
Yes.
So register if you have not already. And we will see y'all there. That's it.
Enjoy your day.
All right. Love y'all. Happy Saturday.
Peace.